Oi, oi, hello and welcome to day 3 Cheltenham Festival trends. We're only one more video away from the festival being upon us. And on that note, this Thursday there is a special production being done for the weekend watch. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you've got an account to do so. Drop a like on the video, drop a comment in this one. But basically come back Thursday to see it's going to be a phenomenal episode. Fingers crossed. Now, in this particular video, like I've done in the previous two, we'll be going through the top line trends for races at the Cheltenham Festival. This day we're looking at is Thursday. There is no trends piece for the new Novices handicap chase because for all that there was one in the past, the old Close Brothers, it was run on a different day. It had a ceiling of it of 0 to 145. So I just don't think they're going to be really relevant. And talking about the relevance there, I like to mention this in all the videos. Look, form study is your number one friend for horse racing. These trends pieces can be beneficial for some systems to potentially back blind. That's all mentioned in the articles, which are all linked in the description below. But of course, you can also use these to boost or you can use it to knock confidence in certain types of horses. So look, I'm not trying to do this to say only use these, but I do think they're interesting and they have profiled some winners in the past. There are some cheat sheets coming up as well, specifically for each day, day 1, 2, 3, 4, like I did last year. There'll be some high level lines in there, some slightly not different ones from here because obviously the facts are the facts, but there'll be some, differently worded stuff is probably the best way to put it, but there'll be some extra trends from that. There'll be like a cheat sheet quote that gives you a paraphrase line of this is what you might want to look for in a profile of a horse for a race, and I'll put a suggested horse for consideration on there that follows the trends that I've written in that article. So we've had winners with these in the past. I think a few of you like these, so they'll be coming out from Tuesday. But without further ado, let's crack on with Thursday's trends that we have. As I say, link in the description to go read the full articles if you want to go do that. Appreciate the support. But for now, I will talk you through the key trends. So the Mayor's Novice Hurdle kicks off the Thursday. We've had 9 run-ins of this now, so hopefully we might be able to pick a bit of a pattern. They will be aged 5 or 6, likely to be priced 9 to 2 or bigger. That's the last 6 winners. Last ran 28 to 47 days ago. Has 2 to 4 runs over hurdles and has won 2 or more of those. Rated 135 or higher, but is not the highest official rated runner, the horse with the highest official rating, basically. The only winner that ticked that box came in 2017, is not carrying the £3 penalty. There are conditions in this race where you can carry different figures. Is not carrying the £3 penalty would be true of winners of this race typically. Now, I mentioned we haven't got the Novices handicap chase, but we'll crack straight on with the Pertemps. A bit of a plotty type. You might think we might be able to find patterns. Well, the conditions for qualification have changed over the years. Back in the good old days, you just had to run in a race. Didn't even have to finish in the top 8. Then it was top 8, then it was top 6. Now it's top 4. It's you win and you're in as well. So look, things have changed, but looking historically at the last century and the last decade, the key trends I've picked out are a horse that is aged 6 or 8 years old. You want to avoid favourites, backing all runners with an SP of 9 to 1 to 25 to 1 at Betfair SP. Doing that this century yields a 60% return on investment. So again, if you just want to back stuff blind and have an interest, then backing horses that are 9 to 1 to 25 to 1, that's industry SP, but back them at Betfair SP. So confusing, right? Look for horses rated 138 to 146 and carrying 10 stone 8 to 10 stone 12. That is a 58% return on investment this century to SP. So that's an easier one to fall into. They last ran between 19 and 42 days ago. They didn't win their qualifier unless it was last time out and 5 weeks ago. The 2 that did it were both 35 days ago. And no more than 1 win at 3 miles or further in the horse's career. So that's the Pertemps in a nutshell. Let's crack on. Ryanair Chase. Now, this is a trends one that big time profiled Protector out to win the race last year. It was upgraded to a Grade 1 status in 2008. It depends on this one. When we look at the stats, I say depends. We've got 17 renewals this century and then we've got 10 in the last decade. I wonder if the last decade's a bit more prevalent because we've been getting a few more classy horses. But look, the key trends as I've highlighted them in here. Backing 8-year-olds is a huge loss maker. Preference is for 7-year-olds first and foremost and then followed by 9-year-olds. Will be a single figure price and you want to look towards the top 3 in the betting. We'll have an official rating of 161 or more, but look to those with an official rating of 165 or higher. And that's where I say that the more recent trends probably are lifting that figure up. They'll have a peak RPR this season of 165 plus. They should have run at Cheltenham before, and ideally more than once. They will already have 2 or more wins at 19 to 21 furlongs and 4 or more chase wins at any trip. And ideally has already won a grade 1, but it isn't actually essential. But of course, when it comes down to using some of these trends to do the boxes that need to be ticked, the further down you get with some of them, where I've said that winning a grade 1 is not essential. If you've got 3 on your shortlist and one has won a grade 1, then obviously you'd give them preference over the others. But as I say, it is an essential, so you might not completely and utterly rule out a horse if they didn't tick that box. Stayers hurdle trends, the championship race for this day. Preference goes to 6 and 7 year olds in here. Following the first 2 in the market is a loss maker both this century and in the last decade, which is kind of crazy to think about when we had big bucks just slamming in here year after year. Must have an official rating of 152 or more, but preferably 160 or more. Only tip who's going to tick that box. Well, for the 160 or more, there's a couple that will be the 152 or more. Will have run at 23 to 25 furlongs. 6-year-olds can be forgiven if they haven't run at that trip, in fairness to them. Will have already won a grade 1. Again, 6-year-olds can be forgiven that if they've already won a grade 2. So that's the Stayers hurdle trends in a nutshell. Probably is just antepost to lose though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Right, plate. Another handicap. Plenty of handicaps to get stuck into on Thursday. There is no real age bias in this race. Again, it's all detailed in the description and the links below. But 6, 9 and 11-year-olds have been profitable to back blind both this century and in the last decade. Runners priced 14 to 1 to 33 to 1, that's at SP, have taken half of the renewals. Has an official rating of 140 to 145 and carries less than 11 stone, is a bit of a profile. Respect runners who last ran at Cheltenham or Leopardstown, especially last time out winners. Likely to have their maximum distance win at 21 to 22 and a half furlongs. So while this race is over a little bit shorter, they're likely to have already won over further than this. Probably has 3 or fewer wins over fences and is not wearing headgear. That can be a positive stat in certain races, but not in the plate. Muir. I wonder if we'll get another horse like last year that just gets smashed up and we can follow that. But if not, the trends might help us find it. Or maybe they'll help us find the profile of the horse that will get smashed. Likely to be aged 7 or 8 years old. Respect the top 3 in the market. Look to those who last ran between 19 and 28 days ago. That's fairly recent. Most winners had not won that season. Most winners had 2 or fewer wins over fences. Winning form at 24 to 26 furlongs is not essential. Runners with tongue ties have been profitable to back blind, so little niche one there. And 5 of the last 6 winners were novice chasers. So that wraps up all the races for Thursday. As I say, there will be links in the description for all of the articles where I do go into a bit of detail for each of the categories. There may even be some pointers that I haven't mentioned here that you think are relevant, but I've put the ones that I would class as the key trends in there. Cheat sheets will be coming out from next week. There'll be one more of these videos coming out next Sunday. And then look, before we know it, it is the Cheltenham Festival. So I really do appreciate your guys' support. Make sure you are liking the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below wherever you fancy. But obviously, please do play nice. We will see you Thursday for this very special episode of Weekend Watch. Be lucky and we'll see you again soon.